Finding that dream job in the innovation economy may seem out of reach. It's not. With the right level of commitment, energy, and passion, you can land the job that you want. How? I'll be right back.
This is the Killer Innovations Podcast with Phil McKinney. Keep in mind that the information and opinions expressed in this podcast are Phil's, and Phil's alone, and they don't necessarily reflect those of his past, current, or future employers. Now, here's Phil McKinney.
So what is your dream job? Some of you may think that I've got the dream job, and quite honestly, I would agree. Now, that doesn't mean it's perfect each and every day. There are other frustrations that come with any job. It does mean, though, that I found excitement and contentment with what I do each and every day. Now, it's interesting when I reflect back and look back upon my career. It's not like I set out, 10, 15, 20 years ago with a well-thought-out plan to get to the job that I'm at today. Fortunate to do the right things at the right time with the right players, and such that my career was able to advance to where I am today. What I'm going to talk to you today about is how to do more of a strategic plan about where your career is today and to get yourself ready to be a key player in this emerging innovation economy. A key question I commonly get is what steps does it take to get my job, or more exactly, how to get a job just like mine? So, what are the steps? What is the preparation you need to do so that you're ready to step in and be a key player, a key influencer, having high impact on your organization? First off, define what it is you want. What is that perfect job? What is that role that you want to achieve? Write it out. Sit back and think like the hiring manager, and define what it is that job, not just a title that you want to be, X, Chief Innovation Officer at XYZ company. Write out the job description. What would be the roles and responsibilities? What would be the key skill sets? What education would be required? What experiences would they need to have achieved to be successful? And be honest. Don't write it so it just matches exactly to you. If you were the hiring manager, define that job. Write out that job description. Talk to people who have the job that you desire. If that role currently exists someplace, find those people. Search them out. Contact them. Ask them if you can interview them. Ask for career advice. People who are in those key roles typically are more than willing to respond by email, by a phone call, whatever is most convenient. Find that 10, 15, 20 minutes. Don't ask for 4 hours in their calendar, but ask for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Have your questions well thought out. Ask for their advice. Ask for what you should do to get yourself better positioned to fit into that role that they are already in today. Then build a list of companies. Not all companies are equal. Build yourself a list of companies. If you had this dream position, at what company? Why would it be that particular list of companies? Is it culture? Is it management? Is it their ability to come up with new ideas and new products? Whatever it is, come up with a list of companies that you would want to go work for. Now, here's the ultimate trick, though. Many of you are going to say, okay, I've got the job description, I've talked to some people, I've got the target companies, I'm a good fit. What do I do next? Don't wait. Don't wait for the job to be posted on the websites. In many cases, high-profile or high-impact jobs are already typically pre-filled. They've already gone through the process of identifying a list of candidates based on reputation, people outside the company. Go through the process, though, of building your network, understanding how those companies work, how they make their decisions, how they innovate, who's the right level of managers that are involved in this process, and make sure that they know who you are. Now, this assumes that you're all ready to go, that you've got the education, the skill sets, the background, the proof points, everything that you need. You're the full package today to go in. In the rare, outside chance that you're not the perfect package, what would it take to be ready to go after this dream job of yours? What would be the background work? What would be the prep that you would need to do to get yourself ready? First off, do you have the education? Now, I'm not a big proponent that education and degrees defines whether or not you're going to be successful. So what I'm talking to here is the education beyond college, university, or even trade school. What I'm talking about is education from the standpoint of, have you been a lifelong learner? Learning does not stop when you graduate, whether you finished high school, whether you've gone to trade school, junior college, college, university, advanced degrees. It's not this point of where you graduate and you're done. I'm talking about lifelong learning. Now, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you are a lifelong learner. You're reaching out, you're looking to enhance your skills, your capabilities, you're looking to learn from others in the space. If you're currently a student and you have an undergraduate and you're thinking about going to graduate school, here is my one point of advice. If you're thinking about going for an MBA, I would ask that you at least consider and look at possibly going for an MFA, a Master's of Fine Arts. Why? Typically, if you are, let's say, more of an engineer type, an accountant, that type of a person, you're typically got all your wiring on your left side of your brain. Very logical, very process-oriented. You need to get stretched. You need to look for, how do you open up the right side of your brain. Now you're saying, now hold it, I'm not an artist, I can't draw. An MFA is not about how to draw. It's about understanding design and understanding color and understanding the role of art in the standpoint of just day-to-day life and day-to-day business. I would encourage you to at least consider. Likewise, if your undergraduate is tied to kind of an art design side of it, then I would actually encourage you to think about an MBA. Build out the skill sets. The point here is that you need to be well-rounded. You can't be so deep in one area. If you're technical, you need to understand the design, the creativity side. If you're coming from the creativity side, you need to understand the business side. You can't be just a software engineer. You have to have a broader set of skill sets. So this is a case where think about doing something, reaching out, learning something that is not part of your normal skill set. So read, listen, learn. It's all about lifetime learning, not the standpoint of when you're done graduating, you're done learning. Also, find a mentor. Now, there's previous podcasts all about mentoring, how to find a mentor, the role of mentors. I am a big, big believer that mentoring is really the way to get your skill sets, to get yourself well-rounded. It used to be in the olden days, it was all about apprenticeships. That's all gone away. And actually, it's a shame that it's gone away, because I think it's really a way for the people who've been successful in their career to pass on their expertise and their experience to those who are just starting their career or who are restarting their career coming from something that they had done previously, kind of a midlife crisis shift. But the key here is find mentors. And don't always think that the mentor's got to be older than you or has to be in a high position that you're aspiring to. In some cases, great mentors are just people who are going to be honest with you. They're going to keep you grounded. You're not going to get yourself, someone blowing smoke at you. This is about a mentor who can help you grow. It doesn't always have to be somebody who's in a super high position or somebody who's had huge success in the exact career you want. In many cases, a great mentor turns out to be somebody who has that ability to help you unlock the skills that you need or the capabilities that you have that you're not even aware of. And also, as part of your preparation is build experience. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. I'm not going to go into detail right now. So how else do you get ready? Build your innovation network. And the key here is build your network before you need it. Join a network. And the key when you join any kind of a social network where you're building it up from a professional perspective is follow normal etiquette. Give to the network before you take. Don't immediately join a network and then ask for help. Join a network, and when other people are asking you for help, contribute. So always give before you take. Another option for a network is starting one. Some of you have created killer innovation network groups that are local, where a group of you get together who are interested in creativity and innovation and maybe talk about the podcast or just talk about projects or ideas that you're working on, use that local team to help you brainstorm or help to improve the ideas that you are working on. Now, how do you find networks? How do you find these people? If I want to create a local one or I want to plug into an innovation network, you're really passionate about creativity and innovation, how do you find like-minded people? Now, to help out, we've gone ahead and we've created different groups on all the different social sites. So there's a Killer Innovations group on LinkedIn. There's a Killer Innovations group on Facebook. There's even a Killer Innovations group on Eventful, which is a scheduling site for upcoming events, those types of things. If you are creating a local Killer Innovation networking group where you're getting listeners to the podcast together and forming a networking group local to different parts of the world, there's a group in the UK, there's a group in Australia that I know of. There's a couple of listeners who get together here in the United States. These are all relatively new, small, little handful of groups of people who happen to live in the same area, or in some cases actually work in the same company together, and they come together on a regular basis. If you have a Killer Innovations local group that you're creating, go ahead, send me the information, and I'll post it on the calendar, so therefore more people can know about your group and can plug in, and therefore you can build out your social network in the area that you're in. The other is that we're also doing this on Twitter now. We've created a Twitter feed called Killer Question, where we're going to be putting out questions out through the social network. And you'll be able to see all the people that are following it. You can see people who are commonly interested in the innovation and creativity, and you can build up your own contacts. So again, this is not the only list either. There's many, many other groups that are out there. Plug yourself in. Find other like-minded people, and then ask for their advice. But again, follow the general rule. Give to the social network before you take. Become active in those networks. Contribute, participate, and then seek out advice, seek out input, seek out feedback. Ask for career advice. I have found that the people who participate in the social groups are overly friendly and overly willing to actually help out and give you that advice and give you some direction, or maybe they're that key person who knows of a job that's about to open up and that you would be the perfect fit, and therefore get your foot in the door in being a key player in the economy, particularly around creativity and innovation. Now, the point I want to make is this is not a sit back and get yourself all ready and get yourself all polished up and ready to apply and therefore get selected as the winning candidate for a key job. Do it now. Start now. Don't wait. Apply it to your current job. I know you've got this dream job that you're targeting, but apply what you are learning today to your day job. Don't wait until you get the dream job. Act as if you already have it within your organization. Another is teach others. You can take this content, you can adapt it, you can teach it in your own organization, get viewed as an internal expert. Get your management team to look at you differently than just being the role that you're in right now, but the fact that you're willing to share your expertise, share what you've learned, point people to sites, be helpful for themselves, they're more creative and more innovative. Be viewed as that internal expert. Another suggestion is to volunteer. Lend your creativity and innovation skills to a nonprofit. Show off what you can do. Use the venue of the nonprofit where typically they get kind of stuck in the rut, but you can bring that creativity to it and help that nonprofit, but you can also use it as a platform to show off what it is you can do. Now, all of this, whether it's applying it to your current job, teaching others, volunteering, being active in social networks, is really about how to build your reputation. Position yourself as the expert, as that go-to person when the organization needs new ideas, needs that creativity, needs that new product, needs somebody to come into an existing team and ask just that right question that unlocks that really opportunity to get that next killer idea out there. To be successful in applying for really that dream job, one of the key components you need to have is experience. You need to build your experience profile. Now, it's not about being proven fully on every aspect of innovation and creativity, but you need to show a well-rounded background and experience. And in fact, what I've found is the people who are best fits for this kind of a role where you're happen to be highly creative, highly innovative each and every day are people who've had a wide range of experience, a wide range of job functions, wide range of industries. They've moved around, not job hopping, but they've moved around enough to where they understand a much broader context of the business and industry as a whole, or as the economy as a whole, rather than having themselves pigeonholed. So here's some suggestions. Don't stay in the same job too long. Move around. Take jobs in different departments and different groups. Take a job that's a profit and loss responsibility. Take the job where it's an operations function, where you're just turning the crank, putting things out on the shelf or providing services to customers. Take a headquarters function. Move around. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting yourself typecasted. Oh, you're the software engineer. That is death. Also, don't stay in the same industry too long. Again, if you get yourself focused on just one industry your entire career, you'll get yourself pigeonholed. You'll be known as, oh, you're the telecom guy, or, oh, you're the retail guy. Move around. Build out that experience. Next, take on extra work. When management says, hey, we've got this really tough problem, volunteer. Keep your current job, keep your current task, volunteer. Be viewed as the person who's going above and beyond. And when you do take on that extra work, use the innovation and creativity skills that you're building and show what you can do. Take a different approach. Bring that to the table. You want to get viewed management as being kind of that, wow, that's the guy we want on these teams, on these special projects, high-profile activities inside the organization in order to have that impact. We want Joe to be part of this team because of the impact that he brings to it by bringing his innovation and creativity. Take on overseas assignments. If you're an American, go overseas. If you're not an American, come to the U.S. Now, in my case, I had the benefit of taking an overseas assignment both in London and in Hong Kong. And let me tell you, it was invaluable. It was invaluable. It gets you out of the context of the world revolves around you wherever you happen to live. And it gives you a deeper appreciation of the fact of the world economy, of the world's impact, the interrelationships between what all happens in different parts of the world, in business and in technology in my case. But I'll tell you, taking the overseas assignments I found is just absolutely critical just from the standpoint of being able to connect the dots when you're working on different kinds of projects. Also, be willing to take a lateral or step down to get that key critical experience. Now, I can't tell you how important this is. I've run into more people than I can even, count, where they're interested in coming to take on a new role, but they're not going to take it because it would require a lateral move, meaning same function, same pay scale. They're looking for a raise of some kind, or it would require a lateral move, meaning a step down, because they're missing a key skill set in order for them to stay at the current level. And they get so wrapped up in their ego about, no, I need a pay increase. I'm not going to take a step down to go into that role. In that case, that's also a flag for motivation. It's a learning opportunity. You're not going to have the perfect skill set in order to move into these new areas. If you have confidence in your own ability to have impact on the organization, management will recognize it. The other kind of unwritten rule or piece of advice, and this was a piece of advice that Bob Davis gave me early in my career when he was mentoring me, which was, 1, make sure you are never overpaid for the role that you provide. You do not want to be the highest paid person in the job category that you're in. Always make sure that you're slightly underpaid to the value you deliver. And let me tell you, I have followed that advice, and it has been so beneficial from the standpoint of at least keeping yourself in check, but also making sure that you're delivering more value to the organization in relation to what you're getting paid. And therefore, it kind of sets that expectation, or it sets that perspective with management that, wow, we're getting great value from this individual. And then help others who can help get you the next job. Find that person. Find the people who are kind of that leadership role within your organization, who are kind of leading the charge into a space that you want to get involved in. Maybe it's that person who's kind of been tagged inside your organization to being the innovation guy or the creativity guy. Hitch your wagon. Volunteer. Offer your time. Offer your energy. Offer help in project that they're working on without any understanding of compensation or whatever. Just offer your help. Build that reputation with those people. Find those individuals who are going to be the help that you need to find that dream job that you're looking for. So how do you know you're ready? You've defined what you wanted. You've taken that and created a job description so you know that dream job. You've identified the list of companies that you want to go work for that have that culture, that have that reputation, that have the management in place to really have what you are looking for in that dream job. You've done the prep work, so you've built up your expertise. You've learned. You've been a lifelong learner. You're constantly learning. You have proof points of what you can do. You've eliminated the skill gaps that you've identified in the job description. You've worked on it. You've eliminated or minimized those skill gaps. You've invested in time and spirit in establishing your experience base. You've built your social network. So now what? Ask. Make the pitch. Get in front of the right people. Explain to them why innovation is important, why you, and what is the benefit to the organization. But you've got to ask. If you're sitting back waiting for that job to land in your lap, it will never happen. You need to be proactive. You need to get out there in front of people. You need to help them understand why this is important, why you are the person to make it happen, and then what's the benefit to the organization. Now, be ready for no. You're going to get the no answer. But don't give up. I can speak from my own experience that the thrill of creating the future is worth the investment of time, energy, passion. Stick with it. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Visit killerinnovations.com/community. There you will find links to the LinkedIn group, Facebook, the Inventful group, and even the Twitter group. There's also on this site a badge, a Killer Innovations podcast badge, so that you can place it on your site or your blog as a way to pay it forward. The sole purpose of me doing this podcast is to pay it forward based on the request from my mentor 20-some years ago, Bob Davis, when I asked him how I could pay back all the time and energy he invested in me in my early career. His simple instruction was, pay it forward when you are successful in your own career. This podcast is my way to pay it forward. All I ask of you is to pay it forward yourself. Please provide feedback at podcast@killerinnovations.com. I'm looking for feedback on the shows, on the blog, whatever's on your mind. Also, feel free to submit ideas and questions you would like covered in the future podcast. And with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.